Stock JL Rubicon, high centered somewhere around 7,000 feet elevation. Tahoe, easy trail, rated easy. It was really no big deal. Came around the corner, I was gonna pick the line to the right, but it's so greasy that it just slid right off. And there's no lift. Stock 33s. They're great tires, except when you're high centered. So this rut, so that rut is deep and just a little bit off on the line. Standard definition or classic of high centered. Underneath, right at the transfer case into the mud and settled down right on top of the guard bars. And driveline missed, differential missed. This shock was aced in there as well. So, plan is, the only jack point I could get to that wasn't sinking was here on the frame. And I figured, well, what else am I going to do? If that's a support spot, I'm just going to jack there. And by jacking there, I managed to get just a little bit of daylight underneath. But it's still in pretty good. Sway bar's disconnected. I don't know if that was a mistake or not, because maybe it wouldn't have high centered. And instead of dropping the front down like that, maybe it would have tipped instead and been able to ride on the left side. Had it in 4 low and tried to get out with the lockers on. So now it's high centered. Sway bar is disconnected. And differentials are locked. Plan is gain a little bit of altitude, building a poor man's suspension lift over here, the right rear tire, and once it gets enough rocks under there, I'm going to drop that under the frame, settle down on these rocks, come back, and now I might be able to get that front axle up. And this mud is so soft, because if I can get this front axle up, get better rocks underneath this front right tire, and build a Barney Rubble suspension lift, I guess. Happy Friday. And, of course, I'm alone on a trail nobody's driven on in a long time. I'm not too worried, because it's Friday. I don't work till Tuesday. I have food, and a battery for the fridge, plenty of water to take a hot shower, plenty of drinking water. Alright. Barney Rubble suspension lift. I don't know. I don't know how many inches that would be. We'll say 6 just for fun. In back, I can start to see some daylight. Differential's good. Drive line's good. Looks like catalytic converter's all gonna be okay. In the front, managed to get the first couple of rocks under the tire. It's so tight in there that I haven't even been able to get a good rock underneath the axle yet. So that distance between that axle and that mud, I just had to put the jack in there. And it jacked up all the way and smooshed to the ground, but at least I gained enough space to shrink it down and to get a flat rock under there. So for the fourth time jacking, I'll be able to get enough height to get some rocks under the right front. Making progress, because that link was aced into the mud. And here, coming underneath, is still really close to being on the mud. But there's hope of having daylight. I live at sea level, and I'm somewhere over 7,000 feet. That's why I sound like I need an oxygen tank. And I've already taken it out on desert, up over dunes and that. Great time. Even climbed up and over a mountain by my job. No worries. So I figured next week, after I get paid again, I'll go shopping and get a high lift jack and a nice shovel, toe straps, recovery gear. And, you know, on this drive, just do an easy trail, because what could go wrong? I mean, I've got Rubicon, stock, easy trail. Famous last words. So, in the front, I did manage to get a rock underneath, but unfortunately, it is so soft that my rock sank and just keeps going down and down and down. But there was enough, I hope, to get a little bit of air under the right front tire. So, where are we at? Daylight come through. This is the tricky part, where all the mud is at. But looking underneath, I think there's daylight under there. That rail, I think, is still in the mud. Right along the transfer case. So I think there might be hope, because this mud is so soft. I'll be able to scrape my way out, because I think there's daylight on the other side. In the rear, right rear, set up Barney Rubble suspension lift. I was going to do something on the left rear, because that left rear is down in the rut. There's the rut. Problem is, mud is so soft, and I was jacking right up the axle. And I have a rock under there and just drove it into the ground. So hopefully there's enough clearance and the rocks are good enough and the dirt is soft enough under the transfer case that I have a chance. Otherwise, I get to walk to Tahoe. Yeah, maybe Donner Pass. I can't dig under here because it keeps sinking back in. So the left front, where I slid down, it dropped me into that rut. And it was soft. So, there's left front tire in that rut. I hope this goes well. It's a long walk to Donner Pass. Ah, I'm glad that went well. And of course, people could say, and you're right, don't go off-road alone. Make sure your gear is good for the trail. But truth is, you're gonna get stuck. Because eventually, you're gonna run into something. And yeah, there was optimism to take a stock JL Rubicon running 33s. But I had a theory. Theory was try to take this line right through there, keep that left tire up on the top, and I wouldn't go in the rut. Well, we have evidence of how that worked out. So there's a demonstration of how to self-rescue with the factory jack and a Barney Rubble suspension lift. You can see how soft things are because it just drove these rocks into the ground. And here's where it high centered. Nice scrape. And the way the new Wrangler is, there's probably a Willys Jeep imprinted on the bottom of the transfer case. So if we look close enough, there's probably a Willys Jeep imprinted in the mud right here. So stock is great until you high center. Here's that rock that just drove down. Give some evidence of just how soft this mud is. And again, balancing risk. I knew it's an easy trail. I know how to self-rescue. And I'm not in any situation that would be a threat to health or safety. And now I have a video and a story to tell. But there you go. You can self-rescue with a factory jack and some rocks. Happy Friday. I got stuck about 8:30 in the morning. Haven't checked the time, but the sun is straight overhead. So I'm guessing about noon. So yeah, about 3.5 hours. Good thing there's no mosquitoes. Happy Friday.